most people talk about desire in the singular, but I'm wondering if it's plural and if all or many desires can coexist at the same time. And even that there could be a conflict between one desire and the other desire. You know, one might end up, you know, suffocating the other one. Certainly the earliest reference would be to a film called The Red Balloon, Last Tango in Paris. An older film called Le Corbeau, The Raven. And then I suppose the most contemporary film is Claire Denis' kind of masterpiece amongst many, called Beau Travail. So these are, I would say, the 4 points of connection for this show. You know, when I was trying to speak about this piece in Pont, Lodi, with the lampadaire and the balloon outside, I didn't want to say too much because I don't want to give my, you know, I'm giving these elements, and they're quite clear. There's a lampadaire, there's a burning lamp, there's a rope, there's a balloon, but then there's a blue sky or a cloud, or rain or wind. So you know, I give specific fixed pieces, but then we are using literally the landscape. Actually, you would hope that everyone should have that feeling of whatever self-interest, self-confidence, and security. Because if you provide a platform for whether it's a child or an adult, if you provide a platform for self-confidence, this is when the real questions can start. You know, if you start from a position of weakness and, let's say, you know, pressure or confrontation, I don't think that leads to, let's call it, great philosophical thinking. I think that the platform for movement ahead is to feel, you know, avec les pieds sur la terre, c'est sûr. You know, it's good to have the wings and the feet on the ground and the horns and the, qu'est-ce que c'est ça? Yeah, the nimbus, you know. So from the nimbus to the nombril, you hope something is working. Getting into Beau Travail, I would play Corona, Rhythm of the Night, 24 hours a day. Then it stopped, and I started to listen to peaceful things, and I started to make these aquarelles in the same method that Denis Lavant is making the bed. So I start to inhabit the film. You know, the film gets right under my skin. In reference to the Last Tango in Paris, I found out that Marlon Brando and I are the same size. So the coat here is the coat for me based on a memory of Marlon Brando's coat, except there's no... Now, what do we do when we're wearing clothes, you know? Buttons, pockets. Now, if you have no pockets and no buttons, what are we going to do with these? Well, you go for butter. I always loved butter, you know. I don't love it anymore, but when I was young, I really loved butter. But I felt like I never really exercised how desire for something can turn into something pretty nasty. So that's been sitting with me since I was a teenager, and eventually I tried to do something with the butter with my 2 hands, and then I realized 1 hand is enough to do something. And that allowed me to have my left hand filming my right hand. Imagine if it had been the other way around. One day, I'm in my studio and I decide not to drink wine. But I know that I don't want to cut off the grapes. So I buy grapes and I'm eating the grapes, delicious, 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 and then they're gone. So the desire is still there, but the fruit is gone. So who stole the fruit? Me. So I'm left with, it's my fault that I have nothing, in a way. And I keep looking and looking and looking at this thing, and I think, yeah, this is like a mirror, this little branch. And I thought, well, let's take it further. Let's, rather than have it as a small, I could either have done a gigantic hand with a small branch, or I could make the branch bigger. The body's not dead yet. You could say it's a public inquiry and a private investigation. And it could be a forensic examination, but the body is still alive. I am. I believe I'm still alive, So it's not over yet. I mean, I kind of have a fantasy or a desire that I could do this show again in 20 years. And it may we may be investigating or doing our forensic work in a different way. In my work in general, there is a kind of tragi-comic element that someone said, why would you do work where every year you have to do something more? And I said, because then if someone buys it, they're hoping I stay alive. So at least there's one person in the world who hopes I'm going to stay alive.